Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, students, teachers, and lovers of literature. Our today's concern is the analysis of the novel Unanswered, Cries. Remember, the novel was written by Osman Pius Conteh, one of the West African novelists. And this novel was set in Sierra Leone, West Africa. Who are the publishers of this novel? The novel was published by MAKALAY Education Publishers. The year of publication for this novel is 2002. Well, before proceeding, I wish to bring to you the main theme of this novel. Osman Pius Conteh presents a theme of female genital mutilation. What does it mean? Remember, sometimes it can be termed as female genital cutting. What is it? Female genital mutilation is a partial or complete removal of the external female genital organs. Remember, this practice is done for cultural rather than medical reasons. And this traditional custom has been prevalent in most of African countries, especially the Western African countries. And the novel is going to center on Sierra Leone as a case study of our concern. Well, Osman Pius Conteh tackles the subject of female circumcision. In other words, it is termed as female genital mutilation, as said before. And the book centers around OLABISI, a 14-year-old girl who faces circumcision. While her father, Jones, is a Creole, and Jones opposes the practice, while on the other hand, OLABISI's mother, MAKALAY KAMARA, who is from the same tribe, is all for it. The parents are not married to each other and they live apart. So that is to say, OLABISI Jones suffers from poor upbringing, and this endangers her life because she finds herself under pressure of being circumcised out of her wish and her will. Unanswered Cries is a modern novel presenting a moving story, a very captivating story, revolving around OLABISI, who is under pressure to be circumcised in order to realize the reality as a woman. Remember, female genital mutilation is a rite of passage to womanhood. That is to say, a girl cannot be regarded as a woman unless she is circumcised. So MAKALAY KAMARA makes sure that OLABISI must be circumcised for her to realize her life as a woman as far as in this society is concerned. Well, the analysis of this novel is going to center on both form and content. To start with the form, the first part to be treated and form is plot. And dear listeners, under plot, I'm going to present to you the chapter summary. Remember, the novel comprises of 9 chapters, each having a specific heading. Chapter 1, OLABISI at home to her mother in the village. Of that village, it is BONDO village. And dear listeners, remember, OLABISI is on holiday and she decides to go to her mother's village, that is BONDO village. Therefore, she leaves Freetown. Freetown is the capital city for Sierra Leone. Well, in chapter 1, OLABISI is sitting washing the dishes when she hears the sounds of drums and singing. And this is one of the indicators of traditional society. OLABISI asks her mother for permission to go and watch what is happening, but her mother refuses. Later on, after a long conversation, her mother agrees and OLABISI takes the camera with her to take some photos or pictures. MAKALAY, who is OLABISI's mother, stresses that OLABISI should be circumcised as well in order to earn respect and become a responsible mother. OLABISI wonders how a girl can be circumcised while she does not have a penis. Her mother gives her a sound slap, believing that she has started sleeping with boys. This is an indicator of premarital sexual affair. MAKALAY calls OLABISI a boka. Remember, boka is a derogatory term used in this novel to mean an uncircumcised woman. This marks the end of chapter 1 summary. Chapter 2. OLABISI fights Saleh and Rugiatu. Who are Saleh and Rugiatu in this novel? Saleh and Rugiatu are Yapose's daughters. Who is Yapose in this novel? Yapose is the chief female circumciser in BONDO society, and she is the leader of BONDO secret society. We are going to discuss about her at the part of characters and characterization. Well, in chapter 2, OLABISI, Saleh and Rugiatu are on the way from the stream to fetch water. OLABISI, curious, asks Rugiatu whether she is a boka. She is surprised to see Rugiatu becoming angry, and the two fight vigorously, and Saleh joins in to help her sister. In the process, Rugiatu and Saleh fall down, and OLABISI starts to tear their pants to see what they have between their legs that was circumcised. Suddenly, Saleh hits OLABISI with a rock, and she falls down unconscious. She later quarrels with her mother on the same issue. Then the apostle arrives with a crowd of armed women, demanding OLABISI to be taken to the BONDO camp to undergo female genital mutilation for what she did. Remember, it is an act of fighting the two daughters. So OLABISI had broken. It was a taboo for OLABISI to fight the two daughters of the chief female circumciser. The apostle threatens to do something bad to MAKALAY, who is pregnant. And MAKALAY is fearing of what might befall her because she is pregnant. She fears of what the apostle could act upon her. OLABISI overhears it and prepares to run away. A step further, KAMARA and MAKALAY chases her, but she manages to push a bucket towards Dauda that sends him down. Chapter 3. OLABISI in the forest. OLABISI enters a thick forest and goes through it, hoping to find a nearby village. She becomes to a fenced hut and begins going around looking for the entrance. As she runs, her footstep echoes, and she thinks that an invisible creature or apostle is chasing her. Before she finds the entrance, she hears the voice of women and climbs up the tree to hide, but she falls down. That is a great misfortune to her. She climbs up again and watches inside the fence. OLABISI realizes that it is a BONDO camp, and this is a very unexpected phenomenon for her. The women are accompanied by a young girl, a 10-year-old girl who is going to be circumcised. She tries to run away, but she is overpowered. She gives a loud cry, but it goes unanswered. Remember, here are some very important manifestations of this noble's title, because a 10-year-old girl's cries go unanswered. Saying this, OLABISI decides to climb down, only to find herself surrounded by the apostle and her two daughters welcoming her to the BONDO camp. Chapter 4. MAKALAY looks for OLABISI. Remember, OLABISI has escaped away from BONDO village, and she is on her way to Freetown. What is MAKALAY going to do? Is she going to manage to take OLABISI back to BONDO camp? Here was chapter 4. MAKALAY dreams of the apostle coming to punish her for disobeying the gods. She decides to search for OLABISI no matter the cost. Dauda comes back complaining for what OLABISI did to him. MAKALAY leaves the house and disappears into the bush looking for OLABISI. MAKALAY meets Pa Amadu, who is the hunter, and promises to give him a goat if he finds OLABISI. Is Pa Amadu going to accept this bribe? Is Pa Amadu going to catch OLABISI and take her back to BONDO camp? Dear listeners, here goes chapter 5. Back at the BONDO camp, OLABISI stays with the apostle and her two daughters, who welcome her to the BONDO camp. To free herself, OLABISI fights the three of them to OLABISI, Yapose, Rugiato, and Saleh are addressed as the three witches. How? Let us find out. OLABISI fights the three of them and manages to overpower them. This is a manifestation of OLABISI's bravery and trickery. Remember, OLABISI has a boyfriend, and probably OLABISI's boyfriend is the one who used it to teach her how to overcome some difficult situations. Who is OLABISI's boyfriend? He is nobody but Edward Cole. We're going to find him in the next part of the story. She then runs away, but unfortunately comes to the river. On trying to cross the river, she sees a crocodile come her way and runs back, only to find herself in the hands of Pa Amadou the hunter. Chapter 6. OLABISI arrives in Freetown. Ada Jones is in the house with Oya. Who is Oya? Oya is Ada Jones' new fiancé. She wonders how she got on Ada's bed while she had just slept on the sitting room couch. They quarrel over the matter of Ada Jones' relationship with Yamide. That's to say, Ada Jones has promiscuous behavior, or he has some multiple sexual partners, and that brings about some quarrels with Oya Bangura. But Jones insists she is only an ordinary friend. To Ada Jones, Yamide is only an ordinary friend. Oya determines to leave the house, but she is stopped at the doorway by Jones' question, "Will you marry me this year, December?" Suddenly, the sound of someone running is heard and OLABISI enters. She narrates what happened and what was about to happen to her. She then goes to the bathroom to take a shower with Oya supervising her. This is an indicator of love and care. Oya takes care of OLABISI as her biological mother, while in a realistic sense it is not. While in the bathroom, they hear a violent knock at the door. Who is knocking at the door? She was nobody but MAKALAY KAMARA. MAKALAY comes in demanding to take OLABISI to the BONDO camp. After a long debate with Ada Jones, MAKALAY says OLABISI is not a legitimate daughter of Ade, but of Abdul Rahman. Who is Abdul Rahman in this novel? Remember, Abdul Rahman is not alive, he is dead, and he is the one who is claimed by MAKALAY KAMARA to be OLABISI's biological father. But remember, this is a manifestation of lies and deceit. What is claimed by MAKALAY has no elements of truth. Ada Jones grips her throat that is MAKALAY's thought, and forces her to confess the lie until she renounces her statement. Then Ade says he is going to take the matter to court. Chapter 7. OLABISI's case is taken to court. Both OLABISI and her father feel nervous about appearing in the court. Remember, OLABISI had not appeared in the court, and she is nervous, not only OLABISI but also her father. His father helps her to rehearse the words used in court as told to her by Oya. Remember, Oya is a lawyer by professional. Oya Bangura is a lawyer by professional. Words like objection, sustained, overruled, etc. and these are some legal words. So OLABISI must be familiarized with them before she appears in the court. On the first day of hearing the case, BONDO women appear in the streets of Freetown in hundreds and thousands, singing songs of protest. Remember, they are joining hands with the apostle and the MAKALAY, who are trying their level best to make sure that OLABISI must be circumcised for what she did, and on the other hand, for her to realize the reality as a woman. They carry a banner with words. So some banners, some posters are written with some words like female circumcision, a mother's decision. OLABISI, Oya, MAKALAY, Circumcised. Circumcised is MAKALAY's lawyer in this novel. Judge Lansana Khan and the other spectators are all in the court. OLABISI becomes the first witness to be called. Oya cross-examines her or asks some few questions, and she narrates what happened, and then Mr. Sesai follows. OLABISI admits a relationship with Edward Cole, or Eddie, who is OLABISI's boyfriend, that they made love at age 14. This is the manifestation of a theme of premarital sex. OLABISI engages in premarital sexual affair at the age of 14. Ade Jones is called as the next witness, and asks the court to differ with Mrs. MAKALAY KAMARA. Then Mr. Salam Sesai asks him a few questions, and Ade stands for his decision that OLABISI should not be circumcised. The judge adjourns the court, and Eddie appears to confront OLABISI, but she tells him to stay away from her. She kicks him in the shin, then she runs off. This marks the end of their love relationship. Chapter 8. OLABISI takes pregnant test. OLABISI is ashamed and asks for forgiveness from his father. It was forgiveness for what maybe she did during the court session, because she shames her father, and Ade Jones appears to be a very irresponsible parent for OLABISI's behavior. So inevitably, OLABISI must confess for what she did during the case proceeding. Oya comes in and suggests that OLABISI should see a gynecologist. Who is a gynecologist? Or a doctor who treats women in this novel. She is Dr. Asiatu Koroma. We're going to find about her later in this analysis. Ada is shocked, but Oya insists that OLABISI must take pregnancy test. On hearing this, her stomach becomes upset and she starts vomiting violently. On Monday, the case continues. This time, Dr. Asiatu Koroma is called as a witness and explains the medical reasons why OLABISI should not be circumcised. She even says her own daughter is soon to die of HIV/AIDS acquired during FGM. Who is Dr. Asiatu Koroma's daughter? She is nobody but Umu. So here goes the vindication on how FGM seems to be the most dangerous traditional custom because it results in transmission of HIV/AIDS, from which Dr. Asiatu Koroma is lamenting on it because her daughter acquired HIV during circumcision. Here goes the summary of the last chapter, chapter 9, the judgment. Finally, Yapose, the Degosoway, or the chief female circumciser, is called as a witness on MAKALAY's side. Yapose also gives the history of BONDO tradition from the days of their ancestors. So that is to say, FGM has been a very outdated, traditional, and a long-lasting traditional custom. It existed long time ago, although it is still existing today, as far as the proceeding of this novel is concerned. So it is a very traditional right, passage to womanhood. They nicknamed it Mama Africa. She then gives the benefits to girls of going through the BONDO ritual. She says it teaches women to be committed in their marriage, preparing women for their role as parents. The BONDO initiates are taught the skills needed to successfully manage the household. Just mentioning a few. Oya then steps into questioning Yapose. She asks Yapose to justify her claims, since there are millions of good mothers who handle all the women's responsibilities and they never went through BONDO ritual, and the fact that some girls die in the process. Nevertheless, Yapose defends her position by saying that death can attack someone at any moment, so it does to BONDO women. The last witness to be called was MAKALAY. MAKALAY gives reasons why OLABISI should be circumcised, including helping her to control her sexual desires. be taught how to be a real woman and being beautiful dressed. Oya wonders how a college-educated woman supports such a tradition based on medical ignorance and superstition. So to Oya, this is a great disappointment to find a college-educated woman who is MAKALAY supporting such a barbaric traditional custom. She also challenges MAKALAY to prove how FGM helped her, because she was once a girlfriend to Ade, then to Dauda, and was already circumcised. That is to say, female genital mutilation does not help MAKALAY to control her sexual appetite. When the questioning session was over, Judge Lansana Khan concluded that OLABISI JONES shall not be circumcised, shall not be forced against her will or the will of the father to undergo female genital mutilation. OLABISI was happy for the decision, and 3 months later, Ade and Oya were married. Dear listeners, this marks the end of chapter summary, and to wrap it up regarding the lesson of today, I wish to bring to you the last part of this today's analysis, although the analysis will continue based on the next parts of the analysis. Let us explore on the title of this novel. Well, the title of the book can be discussed looking at both literal and non-literal meanings. Is the title having additional meaning? Can someone interpret the title based on an ordinary interpretation? Well, on a broader sense, the letter or non-literal meanings implies to refuse unanswered cries, implies to refuse to grant or fulfill someone's desires, claims, or wishes as expected. And in this novel, we come across a lot of claims that are not fulfilled. So that is to say, we have the foreign cries that are unanswered, cries that go unanswered. First, there is a little cry that is made by a young lady, but her cry is literally unanswered. That is a 10-year-old girl. Her cries go unanswered. Look at the following paragraph from page number 29 of this novel. The novelist narrates. Suddenly the BONDO women started pounding their drums, and the whole camp broke into a song. The shrieks of the girl were drowned. Her cries went unanswered. Her clothes and pants were torn off her body. She fought like a wild cat, kicking and punching and shaking and scratching without any success. So that is to say, her cries went unanswered. Second, in a more general sense, it refers to the cry of many girls who are forced by their parents to undergo female genital mutilation against their wishes. OLABISI being the case in point Their cries are not answered because nobody cares. Their parents never listen to them. For example, OLABISI is not listened to by her mother. Third, the cries of the whole traditional society led by Apostle in wanting all their girls to be circumcised, including OLABISI, are not answered. They claim it up to the court, demanding that their cause is right and defend their position, but eventually the court judge gives a decision against them. This is to say, their cries were not answered. Fourth, MAKALAY's desire and wish to have her daughter OLABISI circumcised are not answered. MAKALAY and other traditional women, led by the BONDO Secret Society, believe that through circumcision a girl would be able to prepare adequately for parenthood, be submissive, faithful, and loyal to her husband, and possess self-control over her sexual appetite. But this cry is also unanswered as the court judges against her. The last suggested cry is that of Edward Cole, who is OLABISI's boyfriend. The cry of Eddie to have OLABISI back is not answered. Edward Cole apologizes for what he did to OLABISI by revealing their relationship to Sai, who later humiliates her in the court in front of her daddy. Eddie's cry is not answered as OLABISI kisses him and runs away, signifying the end of their relationship. Listeners, this marks the end of our today's lesson, and I wish to welcome you regarding the next part of the analysis of this novel. Thank you so very much for attention and a clear follow-up of